Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic and Precious Movie News. I'm Arnie.
And I'm Andy.
Today we're going to be talking about Amazon has officially bought MGM. My man. So this apparently went down like over the course of the last like 3 weeks, and originally it was reported that it was going to be about $9 billion, but no, the final tally of the deal is a whopping four. Sorry, I keep saying four. It's $8.45 billion. Drew, my man, what do you think about this? Like, I realize that we've totally been talking about this kind of thing for like a while now, about this happening in the entire industry. But like at the same time, I'm interested in your idea. I know you and I have talked about at length about like the repercussions of this to the artistry of movies in general, right? And like the fact that Netflix isn't really making any good movies anymore. Like, I mean, they kind of, they honestly have never really made great movies. They've made like really good TV shows, right? And now Amazon is just pooping out these like blockbuster movies. Did you watch Coming to America 2? I don't think it got really good reviews.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Like, I did not watch it. I was like, man, I feel left out. I was like, if you watched it, I was like, man, we probably should have watched that. But
yeah, it's a good point.
no, I didn't. I don't know. Like, I think this might put Amazon on the map because, like, to me, Amazon was a little bit overlooked. I think the thing with Amazon Prime is that it wasn't one of the big names out there, and because its streaming service isn't a streaming service in the way that we think of it. You can't just pay $9.99 for Amazon Prime. You have to pay $100 a year, which is cheaper, technically.
Yeah.
To get free delivery, free Prime delivery, and then with that you get the subscription, and so now I feel like people either love or hate Amazon, and if people love Amazon, they already have this, and they're just going like they're not. I don't know if they're gonna get new subscribers because of this MGM buyout.
So
Not,
you
not
really,
yet.
yeah, you really hit the nail on the head with pretty much everything you said, and it all kind of goes in line with the stuff that we talked about. These kinds of things for sure. And Amazon, and this article specifically from Slash Film, it actually talks about how Amazon Prime has not been the best when it comes to content. They for sure have like awards prowess, like things like Marvelous Miss Maisel out of Amazon Prime, things like that. They have good stuff, but it just really isn't very robust. And just to kind of give context, I do want to, sorry, Drew, I definitely just want to read this list of properties that MGM owns. It includes James Bond, The Hobbit, Rocky, Creed, RoboCop, The Pink Panther, Stargate. I love that they put Stargate in there because obviously, like, the person who wrote this is definitely a Stargate fan, and the franchise is moving forward. Big Stargate head from way back in the day. Vikings, The Handmaid's Tale, The Voice, Survivor, and Shark Tank are also MGM owned. So, this has repercussions not just in the movie industry, but it also has repercussions that reverberate throughout the entire entertainment industry. Kind of one crazy thing about this is like I was reading this article. It's really interesting the way that they depict the James Bond aspect of it. Is James Bond is actually not even completely owned by MGM. So a different family has ownership of the James Bond character, and they give distribution rights to James Bond, and they actually don't own, like, they don't make any money off of the movies. They actually only make money off of the advertising for the James Bond movie. It's something weird I wanted to bring up. But you think you were in the middle of a thought, my man?
No. Well, yeah, I'll get back to that. But like, also, is it only The Hobbit? It's only The Hobbit's listed.
That's a good point.
Is Lord of the Rings not part of The Hobbit?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. That's such a fucking crazy omission. That's such a crazy omission.
Like, you would put that in there, right? I mean, like, if you owned it, you would put that in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I was gonna say is, like, let's get sticky. Let's talk about GUI, GUI to be exact. Like, I just wanted to say something about our earlier statement. Is like, another thing that really turns me off about some of these things, these media platforms, is their interface. Yeah,
Yeah.
their user
Yeah.
interface.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you I'm finally starting to get the like kind of get back on the Hulu. I kind of like the Hulu way of it. When you're like force fed Netflix for so long, like Netflix is like this is a pretty good simple standard. Netflix is like the Chipotle of streaming services.
Mostly fresh, pretty like inexpensive and like mid grade.
I just meant like
better than McDonald's. Definitely worse than a steakhouse.
I'm just saying Netflix is the Chipotle because like they ask you, do you want white rice or brown rice? They like you get two options every single time. Like the biggest option you have is the protein, and it's like it's three meats versus three non-meats. So I mean, like you don't have to do. You really like they really make you pick. They really like force feed you to like just give small options. Man, this is gonna be a little fucked up when I say this, but it's like it was made for indecisive women. You know, like, oh, I don't really like.
Boy, oh, there it is. There it is. There we are. Yep.
Let's omit that. That
was... Your choice, bro. Your choice. I'm cool with leaving it in. It's all good.
Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is that Netflix is a little bit more straightforward, whereas like you go when you go to like Amazon or Hulu, they're like the Cheesecake Factory menu. I feel like no, I don't know. Like I don't know what I want. I wanted you to kind of pick for me. I don't know what I wanted. This is a big menu. Do you kind of agree on that though? Like,
no,
I
get it. Yeah, no, Netflix definitely like has some really good properties, does some good stuff. I personally go straight for the carnitas or the barbacoa. You can have a decent vegetarian burrito there that's actually quite delicious and tasty, and I would go for it.
What are we talking about?
Right? Yeah, but like, there's stuff on Netflix that I still like get excited when there's new episodes.
Yeah.
I really like everything that every food TV show that has to do with just a random dude getting drunk and hanging out at restaurants.
Yeah,
that's on Netflix. I watch all of it.
We should actually make a whole episode on that. Like that, we should talk about that. But like they have good stuff. I mean, the Selena series I thought was actually
they have really good documentary. Yeah, they had good documentary series. Their TV shows are fucking knocking it out of the park.
They bring BBC to us.
Yes.
And I think that is one of their biggest strong suit is that like Sherlock, I don't think a lot of people would have seen Sherlock or Peaky Blinders, all the stuff we talk about. Luther.
Dude, I wouldn't have watched Breaking Bad if they hadn't already had like the first 7 seasons on Netflix when it was like 2013. I binged the hell out of the first 8 seasons of Breaking Bad on YouTube.
Well, but it really is about that interface that like puts it. It's the algorithm and the interface that puts it in there and it force feeds it to you. I hope Amazon kind of can get better at their interface just so that we can,
I get you, man. The interfaces are really like subpar. It's like there's definitely like a fucking. There's somebody out there who's a fucking software engineer who can figure out a better way of delivering us content on those platforms. 100%. And I think Netflix definitely makes it easier because they were the first ones out of the gate, for sure. Amazon is just such a huge company. They are, Amazon is like the fucking, the content creation part of Amazon is such a tiny part of Amazon that it's barely negligible. What are we talking here? I'm gonna look up how much is Amazon worth. Like, it is an ungodly amount of money, to the point where I know for a fact that Amazon Prime, their video stuff, is for sure just they're like, oh, we like to go to parties and show off our shiny little thing. They are worth so much ungodly amounts of money. What is it? What is it? Here, what is Amazon's net worth? $314.9 billion. Like, that is insane. Like, $8 billion out of that giant chunk of cash is literally nothing. So they are a behemoth company that does things that are not media related, but they have decided to create as much content as possible and make their platform the destination. And I don't know if I like that, because this is like we're cutting up an entire industry, but then we're propping up an entire company that is basically its own nation state within our country. It's true. They're so well funded and there's so much money to it. They don't need MGM.
I mean, they just got stronger because of it, and they were like, I don't think they were. I thought maybe with this purchase they can sit at the big boys table now, and like maybe they couldn't before, but I think they could have. I
think that already happened with their Oscar. I think they got like a couple Golden Globes or whatever. They have awards prowess. I'm pretty sure.
Well, especially with the shout out to that movie that we reviewed.
That was available on Amazon. What's it called? Was it Attack the Block? That wasn't on there. I forget the movies we reviewed. Honestly,
it's the noise.
It's slipping in there. I can just look it up right now. We did.
It's the sound one.
Sound of metal. Sound of metal.
Metal. Man.
Sound of metal.
That
Sound
title
of
just
metal.
like lost me.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but it's a fantastic film. But yeah, I was just gonna say, like, they're huge. Like the movie industry, like that. I think that's part of the problem.
It is.
That's part of the problem. It's not like people who were born and raised in the movie industry and like, make it their mission to make great movies, because the quotient and the formula has always been make good movies, people will watch it, right? And the people who are in the movie industry live, breathe, and die the movie industry, and that's all they care about. That's all they want to do. They just want to make good stories to make movies, or make something big and flashy to also make money, for sure. But now the controlling arm of one of the most legendary, oldest movie studios in Hollywood, in American history, is now owned by a company that also sells laundry detergent and children's toys, dog food. I
was kind of fighting myself for this too. Like, what's the difference between that and Disney? You know what I mean? Like, which owns? I mean, they own Disney.
Yeah,
owns,
Disney. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Disney is like they
they
are the same. You're not wrong.
But like, they might not own, they might not sell us dish soap, but they definitely own more aisles.
You're right.
They own more aisles at Target.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The Disney comparison is fair, and I think Disney. The reason Disney is so powerful, and the reason Disney, honestly, why they've made some big steps, and especially in the Star Wars franchise, but also the reason they're so good at telling stories is because they put creator first. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but like that is the one thing that I will give Disney. It's also kind of the same reason Netflix has done okay as well. They are also very creator first. So they give creators carte blanche to kind of do what they want to do and give them the support they need to make those stories happen, right? But yeah, they definitely, like, I think they're closing down almost all of their Disney stores. But yeah, I mean, they have retail space.
That's such a magical place. Are you serious? I didn't even know that.
I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing. Disney is closing a lot of their stores. I mean, obviously because same thing. Everything is.
I know, but their retail spaces were the coolest.
They're great magical places, and I don't get me wrong. I've bought Disney toys. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the time it was for presents, but I've done it. Disney also owns so much of life. I work with someone with a child, and like that child and the parent know every word of Frozen 2, every song. Like it is constantly playing. But you're right. It is fair to make that comparison. But I mean, it's not like I also give Disney credit because it tends to work out for them more than it doesn't. They give creatives the real carte blanche and the support, and they also know how to tell stories. You know, it's kind of the same thing that I'm saying about the movie industry people that run these studios. They're the ones who've told the stories. They're the ones who have put the stories out there. They've built the stories. They've created hundreds of movies. I think like this article actually goes into depth of exactly how much hours of content they have. I think it's like 17,000 hours of television and like 100 like 20 like it's 4,000 films and 17,000 hours of television together, right? And that control of all of that storytelling, and you know, we're living in the modern world, so everything has to go through the internet and go into your hands, and we have to have a crap ton of content, like to compete in this world, which I think is part of the reason why these movie studios are starting to just be like, all right, fuck it, we can't do this anymore. Like maybe they can't make quality content at the scope and breadth to compete in the marketplace now. So they just have to give up the reins to these giant conglomerates that are already internet based. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's kind of a weird thought.
No,
but like,
yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Right? And like, I think that's to your point. There's just not a lot of good content out there.
That's been my biggest complaint and worry. And I think now we're finally getting content back. We're finally getting those people who paid that extra money during the COVID outbreak to make us content. They are reaping the benefits of those extra costs because they're like the number one supplier for content right now. Netflix is pumping out what they said they would, which is like a new movie every week, and they are getting new content. And I think they were honestly the first to do it. I will say Disney Plus is bringing it all full circle back, but the one episode a week, not mentality, but the format of the a new episode a week is coming back, and it's coming back strong because Disney Plus and HBO Max still do it. And I think like Netflix is getting behind it, even though Netflix was like kind of against it at first. They were just releasing all of them, like all at once, and everybody thought that was cool, honestly. But they realized that like they'll keep more people on their app longer.
Absolutely.
If they do one a week. So I like that.
Yeah, and I also think that I don't know, I feel like we're in this transitional period of just the industry itself, and also the way that the industry has functioned has fundamentally changed. But like, the thing is, where's the good content? Where is the true auteurs who are making good work that is memorable and that is renowned and that everyone universally knows that it's good? It hasn't happened much in the last couple years on streaming services. It really has been mostly relegated to just, honestly, television. But I guess at the same time, if the movie's good, you're gonna release it in theaters, right? If the movie is solid and really good, I mean, I know that Amazon does have movies that it finances and that it releases in theatrical versions, and then you have to like not always available on the platform, right? So maybe that is what's happening. Maybe the good content is being created, but it's so good that the people, the powers that be, are like, hey, we should release that movie out into theaters because it's that good. Obviously, the pandemic has also, hurt those numbers. Maybe that's what's happening, but there's two sides of me. There's a side of me that is just like, that hates it, that all these movie studios are being bought up and that a giant conglomerate that sells laundry detergent is now in charge of basically all of that legacy and all of those new movies. And it feels to me, at least in the first 10 years of this experiment, streaming services haven't been doling out a great product unless it's a really good TV show. And Netflix has definitely been on the forefront of really making good movies. I can't say that there really hasn't been any. So the other side of me is like really, really happy that the industry is becoming far more macroized. And what by that I mean is that there is definitely more opportunity for work for the individual people making movies. I vehemently believe that more directors are being able to make their visions. More writers are being able to, pay their rent and feed their families because there's definitely a steady stream of income coming from these various streaming platforms because they need content. They constantly need content, right? It's like, for me, this whole thing is all about that duality of it. I hate that it looks like there's not a lot of good content being released, but I'm also really happy that the industry, when it comes to the human resources, like, there's work, bro. Like, you can make a movie. We can make a movie. We can legitimately make a movie on the Canon R that I'm filming myself on and get distribution somewhere. I vehemently believe that. As long as you,
I fully plan that we're going to do 6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah, at least, for sure. But yeah, man.
I completely agree, man. You hit the nail on the head. There's 2 ways to look at it. I've always believed that too. I don't know. I want to get back to this Amazon thing. I think it's better. I think it's actually better for the case that we've been talking about, in the fact that I think there's still going to be more content made, but I think there's going to be more quality content. It's not going to be fighting over the scraps anymore. It's going to be like, who releases the better thing. And I think this helps us in this long race. And I'm excited about it. To be honest, I think adding more competition to the conglomerates of, HBO and Disney Plus is going to be good. I'm not saying Netflix is even behind at all.
No.
I think that they have great content. I even think some of their movies have been kind of entertaining. And I think they're right there personally for me. They're not they don't have the greatest, they don't have the top tier premium content yet, but I think they're right there. They're knocking on the door. And I think as the competition gets a little bit more just stronger, like this Amazon play, I think they'll get better.
No, for sure. I do think that because it is more possible for someone to create their vision in a medium and get distribution because of just the pure, giant behemoth that is online streaming, that good content will be made, and people who make good content are learning how to do it, and they're learning how to do it now a lot faster than they would be able to in the past, for sure. So, I think we're in a transitional period. Hopefully, I hope that there's just going to be a whole lot of new movies coming out from the same properties. I don't know what Amazon's going to do with James Bond. Daniel Craig's going to be gone. The Creed movies maybe they're going to be on Amazon Prime. That would be nice if we could just watch all those at the same time. Lord of the Rings. Apparently, there's a new HBO Max series about Lord of the Rings. No, I think there's maybe an Amazon. I don't know. But hey, I think this is double-sided. I think this is just history making itself. And in an industry and change, and when change happens, bad things happen to some people in the industry, and it's usually the people at the top who feel it the worst, which is why it's always the most well-to-do people in the industry that always kind of poo-poo on sudden massive change as well. But I think we're young enough to see we're going to see the fruits of all what's going on. So yeah, I'm excited for the future, and sad for the change and shift of everything. But I think it's going to all work out better, especially for creatives. I think more, and it's funny, and it's funny. This is kind of a different token, but even with NFTs, the world of money coming into the pockets of artists far more than it has been happening is definitely becoming more a normal thing, because of all this innovation happening all over our economy, all over the economy of show business and the economy of artistry. So this is all just fucking part of it, for sure. All right, I think we did it, man.
Yep.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, please like, subscribe. Let us know of any of the movie news you'd like to watch as well. We are available on all podcasting platforms known to man. We've been doing this for like almost a year in September. So we do have a back catalog of movie reviews and some other movie news. Thank you very much. I am Arnie Diaz.
I'm Andy. Sorry, I'm Andy. And, I'm Andy again. And Arnie usually tells me what we usually say, so I'm going to tell him. What do we always say, Arnie?
Go watch a fucking movie.